So the Constitution guarantees rule of law, but the Constitution does not give you law. Remember the difference. Constitution guarantees rule of law, but the Constitution does not give you law. What happens if Constitution gives you law? What happens if Constitution gives you law? It becomes a dead document. Because Constitution has to respond to the aspirations of the society. So it only lays down the procedure to make law. It will not give you law. Understand? To make my point understand, let me give an example. What is law? What is law? Law is nothing but rules which are standardized or codified. Rules which are either standardized into practice or codified into practice. That is what the idea of law. So law is originating through society in terms of your customs and conventions. Right? Law originates through society in terms of customs, social practices. And if these practices are standardized, it becomes a law. For example, triple talaq. How did triple talaq evolve? Society considered it necessary to dissolve a marriage, because you cannot have only entry into a marriage. You need to identify the exit from a marriage. Right? So a standard way identifying the exit from a marriage is law. Because once it becomes a standard practice over times, through generations, we call it convention. We call it a standard, which is accepted by all. This is how law evolves. So the law that is passed from the past into the present, we identify it as natural law. The law that is passed from past to the present is identified as natural law. So triple talaq is a natural law. Natural law means a law enacted to satisfy certain social customs. Got it? We don't know why it is created. But if it has some utility, it is passed on from one generation to another generation. If there is no utility, it is discontinued. A law survives, a natural law survives, if it has some meaning into the next generation. Otherwise, it will end there. So, Constitution recognizes natural law, but it also helps in overturning the natural law. It is not that Constitution completely rejects the natural law, because that law is also created by the minds of the people. We have to respect that. Any law which is standardized is a creation of human mind. What is a custom? Human invention only. Human mind creatively thought and arrived at a standard practice. And if it continues through generations, we call it as something that is passed on as part of tradition. So this is where the customs, conventions, traditions identify. They're all creation of human mind. So they also survive, as long as they don't conflict with the needs of the present. If it conflicts with the needs of the present, we come with another law that is identified as positive law. Because this law is created keeping the present in mind. So if natural law and positive law are in conflict, which should prevail? That's the reason why we abolished practice of triple talaq. Because the natural law appeared to be in conflict with the positive law. So which one naturally should prevail? Positive law. So what Constitution does is identify the procedure to make this positive law.